Welcome to the 2019 Family Strengthening Network Summit. My name is Charlene. I'm the Assistant Director at LA Best Babies Network, and I will be your MC for today. This is our fourth summit. Thank you. That was too short. Keep going. Okay, no, I was really kidding. Thank you. This is our fourth summit and the biggest one yet. For the fourth time, we have gathered in this very hall to celebrate the achievements of this network and most importantly, you. This year, we are lucky enough to have 600 people gathered here to celebrate. Our summit theme, Celebrating Home Visiting Champions, focuses on you. Whether you are behind the scenes or working with families directly, we are so fortunate to have you a part of our network because of the integral part you play in our day-to-day. There have been great changes in the last year. New faces, new protocols, more data to collect, more forms, more clients, and notably, more money for home visiting. Regardless of what program model or funding source you are from, the reality is that we are here to provide quality home visiting to families in LA County. We are still the largest home visiting initiative in this country. We also know that there's still work to do. Collectively, there's roughly about 26,000 slots for home visiting across the county. That includes programs such as Welcome Baby, Healthy Families America, Parents as Teachers, Nurse Family Partnership, Early Head Start, Mama's Neighborhood, Healthy Start, and Partnership for Families. Yet what we also know that there are over 700,000 children between the ages of 0 to 5 years that still need services each year. I'm left thinking, how do we move to a county who believes that home visiting is the norm, it's the right thing to do, and that it's not just a short-term investment, but a long one? I found myself struggling to write this opening speech over the weekend, and not because I didn't have anything to say. I always have something to say. But I worried about not being able to find the right words with the correct impact to convey to you, each one of you, my appreciation for the work that you do. I think I fell into a 40-minute existentialist crisis at one point, which brought me to these points. This work is a continuous learning curve, and I'm learning from each and every one of you. We'll absolutely change a few protocols on you every year. We'll pop up some new forms and tell you to do something different, but that's not what I'm referring to. What I've seen is that each one of you goes through a constant growth each and every day to stay one step ahead for our families, to make sure that they're taken care of. Which leads me to my next point, your unparalleled drive and work ethic. I have never seen such a group ask for so many client exceptions in my life. When I receive calls about client exceptions, I generally have you do a run-through of the case for me. But what really gets to me is the passion and determination that you have in your voice to ensure that this family gets the services that they need. And how far managers, supervisors, home visitors, and support staff go to engage a client that wants services, even if they don't fall into our protocols. I absolutely love and thrive on hearing from you and the successes you individually have with families. This collective impact is great. It wouldn't be possible without you. What also I've learned from you is that growth happens at the edge of our comfort zones. What you've taught me is that you don't run away from challenges or the unknown. In fact, what you all do is go knocking on the door every single day. And for that, I thank each one of you. And ultimately, where do we uniquely act in this world? What is our role in society? And for me, there was one answer, and that's taking risks. Somebody has to stand up when other people are sitting, literally. And somebody has to speak when other people are quiet. This is what we do for our families in LA County. The body of research sparked by the ACE study makes it very clear that adverse childhood experiences in and of themselves are a risk factor for many of the most common and serious diseases in the United States and worldwide, regardless of income or race or access to care. Home visiting is one of the answers to these challenges. We all know what home visiting is, but for the sake of it, I'm going to summarize for you. Home visiting programs provide structured visits by trained professionals to high-risk clients who are pregnant or have young children. These programs support families by encouraging health checkups, screenings, referrals, reflective conversations, and guidance with navigating other programs and resources in our community. These programs also monitor progress on children's developmental milestones, Quality home visiting programs help parents provide safe and supportive environments for their children. And over time, families and home visitors build strong relationships that lead to lasting benefits for the entire family. Can this type of compassion change our future? We cannot solve everyone's problems and their challenges, but rather we are able to provide a safe space for our families to feel comfortable, often for the very first time, to reflect on their own past and feelings and share what they have been through and the effects it has on them as a parent and their children. Our families often share their dreams with us, and we should consider ourselves ever so lucky to be able to hold this space for them. And here is a super top secret. It's my scientific way of saying home visiting works. Aside from the higher rates of breastfeeding duration, immunization, visit schedule adherence for mom and baby, screenings completed, and so on, home visiting adds to a family's resiliency. Families that take part in home visiting often have a positive view of themselves and more confidence in their strengths and abilities. They have an ability to manage their strong feelings and impulses, better problem solving and communication skills, feeling more control. They seek help and resources. They see themselves as resilient rather than victims. They're able to cope with stress in a healthy way and try to avoid harmful coping strategies. They help others, other community members, and they find positive meaning in life despite difficult or traumatic events. Ultimately, we are building resilience across a lifespan. When you're working with a community that looks at trauma as a collective response, you're speaking the same exact language. You have the same goal in mind. It is such a powerful model. This is the essence of the Family Strengthening Network. While I'm up here, I'd like to take a few moments for some special thank yous. First and foremost, First 5 Los Angeles, if we can have you all stand up. Thank you for having the vision to implement home visiting on such a large scale and for continuing to believe in this work. A heartfelt thank you to the leadership, Kim, Christina, Barb, and our amazing program officers, Diana, Marlene, Claudia, Laura, Elaine. Thank you so much for all the support that you provide to all our staff, and of course, all the background staff as well. Additionally, I'd like to thank the members of the oversight entity, Maternal and Child Health Access, and PACLAC for their ongoing support, guidance, and involvement in pushing us to reach excellence in the work we do. Our newest recruits to the network, Department of Public Health and Department of Mental Health, just in case you had not heard, DMH and DPH recently invested another $20 million in hiring additional teams in our existing First 5 Los Angeles funded HFA and PAT sites. Thank you to the support staff of the home visiting expansion. Specifically, I'd like to thank Cindy, Belle, Wendy, Jovita, Carolyn, Lonnie, Tanya, Hanara, Veronica, Linda, the list goes on. So many more. And while the last 8 months have been nothing short of a roller coaster, I'm ever so thankful that our county has recognized the need for increasing resources and funds for home visiting programs. A big thank you to the Taglyan staff today for making this day even more enjoyable and helping us celebrate. Eric and Todd back there on the camera, Alex back there with the AV, our photographer Josh, and I also want to give a deep heartfelt thank you to all our speakers today as well. And last but not least, biasly my favorites, the LA Best Babies Network team, please stand. Because once a year, I get to stand up here and say whatever I want and project my voice to 600 people about how fantastic of a team we are, that regardless of the unique challenges that we have been presented, we have been able to take tasks brought to us and bring them to life. I am ever grateful to each one of you for the unique talents you each bring to our table. Thank you for all the work you do, the positive attitude, and the laughs that are included in our daily work. Thank you to our Executive Director, Dr. Yanakura, and our Director, Jan French, for believing that we could do this work and letting us have some fun while we're making things happen. And thank you to the leadership at California Hospital Medical Center, notably Nate Nussbaum, our foundation president, for advocating for us and continuing to house us. I have a couple of housekeeping and logistical things to go through. Hopefully everyone got through that amazing registration and CEU process. You're very welcome. It was a free tan included. A friendly reminder for our CEU folks, CEUs were provided by PACLAC. A big thank you to PACLAC. LCSW and LMFT folks, please make sure you sign out at the end of the day. So we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to switch over to our Mentimeter slides. Does everybody remember what Mentimeter is? All right. So I'm going to have everyone pull out their phones. Give you a second to do that and go to menti.com. If we can get the next slide, please. All right, so you're going to go to menti.com on your phone, and it's going to prompt you for an access code. That access code is 538042. And if for some reason that access code doesn't work, because now I'm noticing there's two different access codes, you can also try the one at the top, which is 806384. And let me know which one works, so I can announce it over the speaker. The top one? Okay, let's stick to the top one. Perfect. So it's 806384. Let's go next slide, please. Okay, we want to get a sense of who's in the room. Healthy Families America, Welcome Baby, Parents as Teacher, or I'm in the wrong place. So again, if you're having trouble logging on, go to menti.com. The code is still up there, 806384. Give it another 10 seconds. There's about 280 of you that have responded thus far. Okay, so the data is in. We got about 31% of participants today that are from Healthy Families America, about 40% that are from Welcome Baby, 24% that are from Parents as Teachers, and 6% that probably should make it to the front doors. All right, next slide, please. This is your last Mentimeter for a little bit. Well, actually not, we've got two more. Is this your first time at our Family Strengthening Network Summit? It's yes or no. There's no third option. Is this your first time at our Family Strengthening Network Summit? Okay, so it looks like almost 60% of you have been here before. Welcome back. And 42%, 41%, it is your first time. Hope you come back. Next slide, please, one more. What are you most looking forward to today? So this is a cloud, so you're going to type in words. You have up to 3 entries per person. Lunch, oh, lunch, candy, okay. Oh man, going home? You must be part of that 6%. Family stories, knowledge, speakers, story, NChem, I see your name. Raffle prizes, pictures, connecting with colleagues, having fun. Still got a little bit more room for folks to respond, so you'll notice whatever is most popular is larger in font size. Oh, I'm up there. Oh, I'm pretty big. Dr. Darrow, I saw you somewhere up there too. Awesome. Well, while that's going, you guys can keep answering for a few more seconds. We have a dynamic group of speakers today. In just a few minutes, we'll hear from the Executive Director and Vice President of Programs at First 5 LA and the Directors of LA County's Department of Mental Health and Department of Public Health's Division of Maternal, Child, and Adolescent Health. We will hear more about creating a new normative standard that recognizes our collective responsibility for well-being of all children. We will learn more about the healing-centered engagement concept and the framework and focus on its significance in building relevant, meaningful, and sustainable second chance pathways. This afternoon, we will celebrate and hear directly from families and the staff working with them. And we will finish our day discussing methods for maintaining and nurturing a connection with clients who face multiple adversities. There's a lot to cover today. Like I mentioned before, we are here to celebrate our successes and even take some time to reflect on our challenges and what could come of them in our next year of transformation. My personal hope for today is that each and every one of you leaves this room feeling valued, appreciated, inspired, and feeling like our champion. Without further ado, I'd like to first welcome Dr. Sharon, Director. I'd like to welcome Kim Belche, Executive Director of First 5 LA, to the podium.
So for the record, one of the bigger words up there at one point was Charlene. And I just noticed she had her phone up here, and she was... Was that supposed to be our secret? Can we give it up for Charlene? We are, as a community of home visiting champions, so blessed and fortunate to have your smarts, your vision, your clear passion and commitment to this work. And I am delighted here on behalf of the First 5 LA staff and two of our commissioners, Commissioners Sharon and Aragon, to both thank Charlene and the team, and really to thank all of you. This is, as she said, the largest convening ever of home visiting champions, over 600 of you participating, which is an amazing thing to behold. As I hope most, if not all of you know, First 5 LA, we are a public advocate and grant maker on behalf of young children and their families. We are dedicated to work in partnership to ensure that all children in LA County enter kindergarten ready to succeed in school and in life. And we do that in a couple ways. We do that as a partner with many of you, all of you, as well as many throughout our community and state who share our goals for young kids. We do so as an advocate for changes and policies and systems that make sense for kids. And we do so as a funder on occasion, such as the work we are supporting many of you to do throughout our communities, but all with a focus on helping systems, not just specific models, but helping systems work better for families and children. We know that child development and child learning begins before birth, begins at home, and begins with parents. And we know that parents' support of their child's development begins with home visiting. And so today, as we come together regarding our shared aspirations to support children and families at their earliest moments, that work really begins with all of you. As Charlene noted, the work you all are doing is just an extraordinary thing to behold, and something at First 5 LA we are very, very proud of. You are making a difference in the lives of thousands of families in our diverse communities. And you're doing so by building bridges in ways that are empowering and strengthening new parents to better understand and to access the kind of services and knowledge and the supports they need to give their children the best start we all know that motivates them before birth, at birth, and throughout their lives. Now, one of the fun things I get to do, as Charlene gets to do in opening this summit each year, is just to express gratitude and to acknowledge the work that you all are doing in such extraordinary ways. The home visitors, who I said that day in and day out are giving of your knowledge, your wisdom, your energy, and your passion, are amazing leaders, and we're so grateful to be able to say thank you. LABBN, the over 40 grantee organizations, diverse stakeholders, policymakers, educators, decision makers, and parents. We thank you all for what you're doing in terms of bringing forward the vision and making it a reality for families and children in our communities. I also want to acknowledge that we have some first-time attendees who represent part of the Department of Public Health's expansion efforts. If you're a new attendee, just raise your hand. Okay, seek these people out. Give them a home visiting hug. Give them a round of applause. Welcome to the family of home visiting champions. And we also want to give a special shout out. On behalf of First 5 LA to our county agency partners. These are the people who are committed to leading the work you are undertaking here in LA County. They're the ones who are providing additional resources to support and strengthen your work. And these are the people who are helping to bring evidence of the success of the work you're doing with families here at home to the decision makers in Sacramento to expand home visiting support. So in particular, I want to acknowledge Dr. Sharon of the Department of Mental Health and Linda Aragon with the Department of Public Health. And it may be inappropriate, but I also want to acknowledge First 5 LA staff. These people are board members who provide the overall strategic direction and commitment to the staff, as well as the staff themselves who work side by side with you on a day-to-day basis, bring such respect, such professionalism, and such commitment to our family strengthening work on your behalf and with families and communities. So please join me in thanking my own colleagues. I know that's self-serving, but these are terrific champions. So a couple of things I want to quickly touch on that reflect upon the last year, which is what a difference a year can make. And the progress we have experienced together over the course of the past year has been amazing. So for example, since we last convened, our Department of Public Health, working in collaboration with the LA County Home Visiting Consortium and family serving public agencies, put forward its plan, which is effectively a concrete, actionable roadmap that is helping guide our efforts to better coordinate, expand, and advocate for quality home visiting services for new and expectant parents throughout LA County. Incredibly important roadmap that guides our work. We're also making important inroads in terms of sustainability. And here I want to commend the Department of Public Health and First 5 LA in doing work with so many of you in terms of helping build and strengthen the network of hospitals and family serving organizations and providers to make sure that families are getting connected to the services that make sense for them, and that we're testing new approaches to leveraging available dollars to bring into the system. We have some exciting health plan partnerships, such as a pilot that we are beginning with Blue Shield's Promise Health Plan, testing an approach in the Antelope Valley to automatically connect pregnant women to the home visiting services that make sense for the needs of that particular family. And finally, we have a new governor, and governors matter. Governors really matter. And we have a governor who gets it, who understands the importance of the work you do, who understands the importance in investing in the earliest moments possible, and who has been leading an effort that is culminating in a budget that he will sign in the next week or two that will expand the state investment in home visiting by over $100 million. So we've made a lot of progress, but that we have work to do. So I want to close by quickly touching on what First 5 LA's commitments are, because we are an important partner in support of and with you in this work. So as Charlene noted, as important as the progress is that we are making in terms of expanding access, far too few families have access to these services and supports. So that's why First 5 LA is committed to prioritizing our advocacy work to make sure that decision makers and community leaders and policymakers understand the value of and expand resources, diverse funding resources, and expanded resources to support home visiting. Second, we know that important as it is to expand home visiting, we also need to make sure we have the infrastructure in place to ensure quality programming and quality integrated systems. And so that's why First 5 LA and its partners are working to strengthen the infrastructure through a focus on workforce development, through more coordinated, streamlined referral pathways, as well as integrated data systems. And finally, First 5 LA is bringing a more explicit equity lens to our work. And that's a very powerful reason why home visiting will continue to be an important priority for us, because we know home visiting is a critical investment to help address the gaps in opportunity and outcomes we see amongst far too many families, especially families of color. So in short, home visiting has been and will continue to be an incredibly important priority for us going forward, because we see it as such an incredibly essential investment to ensuring that families are strong and children have an opportunity to show up at kindergarten ready to succeed in school and life. And we'll do that as a partner, as an advocate, and as a funder. So I congratulate you on coming. I congratulate you for engaging. I really encourage you to do what you can to harness the energy, the wisdom, the learning in this room, to engage in shared learning and shared leadership, and to inspire one another with the work that you've been doing with an eye towards how do we work together to strengthen the systems that we know are critical to improving outcomes, not just for some of our kids in LA County, but all kids. Thank you for that leadership, and have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Kim. Next, we have Dr. Jonathan Sharon, Director of LA County's Department of Mental Health. He oversees the largest public mental health system in the United States. Prior to joining DMH, Dr. Sharon served for over a decade at the Department of Veterans Affairs, where he held a variety of clinical, teaching, research, and administrative positions, as well as academic appointments. Please welcome Dr. Sharon.
What's happening, home visitors? I'm pretty jacked up to be here, partly because I have to catch a plane to Sacramento that's got its engines on, but also because of the importance of this work. I think of all the things we do, the more we recognize the importance of household and what I call nest, the better off we will have opportunities and well-being in the county of Los Angeles. I've been furiously scribbling and erasing notes about what to say in a very short period of time, but I will tell you that as a psychiatrist and a neurobiologist who does occasionally do work in Skid Row, I oftentimes look at the people that I'm trying to provide care and I wonder about their narrative and their story and their pathway and their trajectory and how work like this could impact those lives every day. And that's a really, really big deal. I want to recognize that the Department of Mental Health, in addition to being invested in the home visiting efforts and the services, is also partnering up with UCLA and our Prevention Center of Excellence that will be doing a significant amount of training to what I call train up the ecosystem. I got a pretty clear message when I arrived and started to understand the lay of the land here about the fact that we needed additional resources to expand home visiting and that we needed to clearly train and educate people that were involved, as well as the families, so that we can more effectively identify what I call the red flags. Because we have red flags all over our communities every day, and we need to recognize them, and we need to connect people with the resources they need to mitigate and prevent bad outcomes and to help nourish and help people heal. I talk a lot about the community access platforms. You know, the Department of Mental Health is putting a significant amount of money into the schools, into the parks, into the libraries, into the faith-based organizations, into our public social service offices. But there's no community platform that's more powerful and robust than the homes of the people who need help and are vulnerable. And that's why this work is absolutely fundamental. I think about what we're doing as a public health approach to mental health, which is different than I think what this department has focused on in the past. At least it's a different level. And I'm channeling my partner in good, Barbara Ferrer, who I wish was here and works with me, as well as with Christina Galley, so closely to figure out how to bring together our resources, our expertise, our infrastructures to impact this county, which has a great deal of need. I also would like to recognize the Mental Health Services Act, Prop 63, and I'm channeling Daryl Steinberg, who I'm going to be seeing very soon, assuming I make my flight, who really is responsible for this vision of bringing money to the mental health system through a millionaire's tax, which is flexible. So there's flexibility in that money, which allows us to do the kind of things that we're doing and that we would not be able to do if we did not have access to Mental Health Service Act money. I'd also like to say that while we're investing big time now, we're priming the pump. And what we need to do is figure out long-term sustainability plans so that we can start billing Medicaid. And also partnering with the state and this new governor that Kim mentions, and our new Surgeon General, who says the most important thing is the ACE. So how do we roll out ACE? I mean, this is a big deal. This is a level of synergy and alignment between our local governments and our state that I think is very unprecedented. For me, home visiting is really about the social determinants of health and what I call the live, love, do. People need a place to live that's stable. They need kin and connectedness and relationship, social support, and they need something to do. And now we have not just a focus on the social determinants of health, but the political determinants of health with this Board of Supervisors, and Sheila Kuehl is the chair of First Five in a way that is unusual, and we have to ride this wave of energy. The last thing I'll say is that by expanding this effort and reaching out to those homes, those nests that have need, we will be healing our community by creating a fabric that people belong to. And that the problems that we have are collective problems, and the only way we have a chance of making a significant amount of progress is through collective action. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to run to the valet. I hope you have a really beautiful day.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. Next, I'd like to invite Christina Altmeyer, Vice President of Programs at First Five Los Angeles. In this capacity, she oversees First Five LA's annual programmatic investments of approximately $85 million in family supports, community engagement, early care and education, health systems with a focus on policy and systems change. Please welcome Christina.
Thank you very much. Very excited to be back here today, and this is such a tremendous audience, so thank you all. What I'd like to do is introduce Linda Aragon to join me on the stage. Linda Aragon, as you may know, is the Director of Maternal, Child, and Adolescent Health at the Department.
According to my badge, I'm a big deal, so.
At the Department of Public Health, and invite her to make a few comments.
Good morning, everybody. Oh my God, I'm so jazzed to be here. What a beautiful crowd. You guys look good. Happy Tuesday. I just want to say I'm honored to be here with all of you, and I want to thank our esteemed partners at First Five LA for inviting me to be part of this important meeting and celebration. You know, home visiting has been a proven prevention strategy woven into Los Angeles County's local landscape for more than the last 20 years. And we're finally getting that recognition of what the work that we do every day matters. So welcome to the cool table, kids. This is awesome. So when it was introduced in 2016, our Board of Supervisors home visiting motion was not only a validation of the incredible home visiting work being done here in Los Angeles County, it was also a call to action for all of us to come together to develop a coordinated system of home visiting services that is responsive to community needs, that's easy to access and navigate, is anchored in community-level partnerships, and is sustainable. And since the introduction of that board motion, the Department of Public Health, our sisters departments of health services, mental health, First Five LA, LABBN, and the Los Angeles County Perinatal and Early Childhood Home Visiting Consortium, and many, many more stakeholders have been hard at work creating this coordinated system of home visiting services that strategically layers an array of effective, evidence-based, innovative, and community-responsive home visiting services to assist our families in achieving strong health, social, and behavioral outcomes, especially in those areas within Los Angeles County with the highest levels of adverse maternal and infant and child health outcomes. Through our collaborative efforts to create the system, we've been able to maximize the funding and identify new sustainable revenue streams to increase expansion of home visiting services, and we've only just begun. There's a lot more work to be done with that, and we will continue to make that happen. Additionally, we have accelerated our work in developing new and standardized measures of family well-being and program effectiveness. And we have been working diligently to ensure that home visiting has stronger linkages to maternity, infant, and pediatric health care, early education and care, and other programs that are targeting young families. We still have much more work to do, so we always appreciate being part of important meetings like today's summit, where we have the opportunity to take a moment to consider the experiences of those we serve, identify the challenges we face, and together think through tangible solutions that will work for the families. So thank you for all that you do. Before closing, I would like to acknowledge and celebrate all of you for the fantastic, or as I like to say, the fantabulous work that you do every day. Many of you, if not all of you, have direct experience providing home visiting services to the most at-risk families and have seen firsthand the many hurdles that our families face in getting the help and supports they need to thrive. It's including language barriers, geographic and social isolation, poverty, and racism. And as a home visitor, you have many times, I'm sure, turned yourself inside out and gone that extra mile to meet the individual needs of your families and connect to them the resources that have made a real difference in their lives and in the child's lives as well. Your commitment to this work and to the families that you serve make a tremendous difference in this world, and we at the Department of Public Health and our Maternal Child Adolescent Health Division are thrilled to be on this journey with all of you. Thank you very much.
So as we're celebrating today, I think there's a group that I know we would not be here today without their tremendous support. So today we want to do a little surprise dedication to recognize the incredible work and commitment of LABBN and LA Best Babies Network. For those of you that, I'm sure many of you know this, but those of you who don't, LABBN has been working to support building this integrated system of home visiting since 2013. And they have been partners with all of us in moving this work forward. When we first began to initiate and bringing programs such as Healthy Families America and Parents as Teachers to LA County, they were there for the launch. They have been there to expand these programs when we made further growth in 2014. And they've been there the last 2 years as we've looked to integrate programs and to respond to the board motion and to do the planning work and to think about how do we strengthen referral networks? How do we make these programs sustainable? How do we support the role of home visitors? How do we recognize the tremendous work? And how do we provide coaching and technical assistance to many of you? So LABBN has been there today, and they have been there extensively over the past 7 years, and we really want to take a moment and thank LABBN. So I'd like to call Dr. Lynn Yanakura, Jan French, Charlene, and the entire team. The entire team of LABBN, I'd like to please come up to the podium. it's just such an incredible group of individuals that have dedicated so much time and energy to supporting the Home Visiting Network. So we have 2 gifts of recognition.
Can I say mine?
I could ask. This one. Okay. So we have a tradition. Let me present this. So we have a bit of a tradition at First 5 LA. When we recognize our commissioners and recognize folks, we do a word cloud, and we capture words that people reflected upon thinking about the organization and the individuals that we're recognizing. And you'll see the words that really stand out from the word cloud: home visiting there, but knowledge, dedicated, and committed. And not only did we hear that from you all, these words that we captured, but we also heard the tremendous outpouring of emotion and support as we were recognizing LABBN. Words like, "This is great, this is awesome, I love this, they're fabulous, we can't thank them enough." So we want to recognize the tremendous dedication of everyone at LABBN that has brought us here today and will continue to support us as we move forward. And the second award is the plaque. So on behalf of many people in the room, we just want to give a tremendous thank you to all the dedication and hard work of LABBN. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you. I was asked to say a few words. I'm certainly very surprised and very honored with this acknowledgement. I think all of us here in this room really appreciate the energy that we bring together when we come together like this. It turns out I ran into a colleague yesterday at the Starbucks in the Union Station, and named Kate Anderson, and we were reminiscing about 2012 when we started the consortium, the Home Visiting Consortium. And we had this dream of a consortium of all home visiting programs and data elements that we would track across programs so that we could look at community impact. And also the idea of going to the Board of Supervisors to get an expansion in home visiting in LA County. And we were talking about, as we all know, there have been a few bumps, but it's such an opportunity. And we both just looked at each other and started to laugh and said, we did it. So thank you, all of you, for making it happen.